Hello everybody. In this video we're going to find how to find the angle in inverse trig function in radians. So we've already done degrees where we find the angle using the inverse trig function, but now we're going to find it using radians. So again, at the end of the lesson you should be able to complete the success criteria. Let's get started. So here we have a question of the arc sine, the inverse sine of root 3 over 2. If you memorize the special triangle, then you should know that this is equal to 60 degrees. You can do it on your calculator, and then you'll find that the angle is also 60. And then we know that there's more than one answer, so we use cast to find where it is. So the ratio is positive, so it should be in this quadrant, and then it should be in the all quadrant. So 60 in these two quadrants. So one of the answers is 60 degrees, and the other answer has to be 180 minus 60, which is 120. So we have 60 and 120. But we need to convert these to radians. So again, from our last lesson, we should know that we can convert 60 degrees to radians by multiplying by its conversion factor, which is pi over 180. It's pi over 180 because pi rad is equivalent to 180 degrees. So if you multiply this, we get pi over 3 rad. And our answers, usually we want to leave it in the pi form, so we just divide 60 by 180. The next is you take 120, multiply by its conversion factor, pi over 180, which is 2 pi over 3. So there we have our two answers. Again, I got 2 over 3 by dividing out 2 and 3, or simplifying to 120 and 180. Okay, so our next inverse trig function question is a cos with a negative ratio. So again, we first find cos inverse of a half, find our initial angle, and this should be 60 degrees. You can use a calculator, or if you memorize a special triangle, you should know that it's 60. And then we need to find where it is on the cast diagram. So it's a negative ratio, so it should be here or here. So we have 60 degrees here, and then we have 60 here. So the angle should be 180 minus 60, which is 120. And the angle here should be 180 plus 60, which is 240 degrees. So we have 120 and 240. So for 120 degrees, we need to convert it to radians. So you multiply by pi over 180, conversion factor, and then we get 2 pi over 3. And then the other answer is 240 degrees times conversion factor, which is 3 pi over 2. No, 3 pi over, 4 pi over 3. Sorry, 4 pi over 3. Okay, our next question is a little different because it has a ratio that's not really special. So we first find the arctan of 0.55. This is going to be equal to, let's see, this is in radians. Inverse tan of 0.55, 28.81. So our angle is 28.81 degrees, and then we have to find out where it is in the cast diagram. So tan is negative here and here. So we have 28.81 and 28.81. So the angle, remember we measure the angle from this axis. So here is 180 minus 28.81, which is going to be equal to 151.19. And then the other one is this angle here, so it's 360 minus 28.81, which is going to be equal to 331.19. So we need to convert these degrees into radians. We get 151.19 degrees times the conversion factor, pi over 180 degrees, which is equal to 151.19 divided by 180, which we get 0.84. So this is going to be 0.84 pi. We want to keep our answers in pi. And then the other one is going to be 331.19 degrees times pi over 180. So 331.19 which is 1.84. Okay, so these are our two answers. Great. So please complete more practice questions on this. I've given you that last class. Okay. So that's pretty much what I'm going to cover in the video. I want you to complete this, which is graphing the trig functions. So this, you're going to graph sine x. So again, f of x means y, so y equals sine x. Complete the table of values. I'm going to give you the x values. You're going to work with negative 2 pi, negative 3 pi over 2, negative pi over 2, 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Okay. So you can convert these to degrees if you want, and then find the y values for them. And then I want you to graph that here. So let me just label the axis for you. 2 pi, pi, 3 pi over 2, pi over 2. You can do the left side, the negative side on your own. And then you'll notice that the maximum value for sine is 1 and the minimum is negative 1. And then write your characteristics here. Okay. And then I want you to do that same thing for cos. Okay, and use the same x values that you did for sine. Graph it, write the characteristics, and then finally complete tan as well. Use the same x values, graph it, and then write the characteristics. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover for this video. I'll see you in class. If you have any questions, please email me. Bye.